Hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on the second OVA for My Hero Academia. Getting ready, getting prepped for season 6 that's coming out this October. And so last week I looked at the first OVA, which was all about Koshin and baseball, the superhero quirk baseball league, and it was cute. It was really cute, but I'll be honest. When I saw the two themes of the OVAs, this is the one I was more excited for. As much as I like baseball, and I was like, oh, that'll be a lot of fun, I really like the Endeavor Agency and the part of the manga where Bakugo and Deku and Shoto are working together. And so I'm really excited to see them like interact with one another in this OVA. And I'm like, it'll be fun. And it's been a long time since I've seen those three kind of being together since season 5. So that'll be good too. Since I've watched season 5 of My Hero Academia, I've watched Attack on Titan. So I know now that Yuki Kaji, who is a voice of a character in Attack on Titan, he's Shoto's voice actor. So now I want to see if I can hear Eren Yeager when I listen to Shoto, which I think I will, which is great. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited for this OVA. I don't know what it'll be about other than it has to do with Endeavor's agency in some way, shape, or form from the key visual that we got for it. But I am excited to watch this OVA, and then come October, I've kind of been mulling around where it's going to be on I've got like a little calendar here of where I do all my reactions and scheduling. I think I'm going to have My Hero Academia come out on Mondays. I think that'll give me time over the weekend to watch the episodes and react to them and get them all edited and then have them ready for Mondays. So I'm pretty sure that like on noon on Mondays, we'll have Heaven Official's Blessing in the mornings. And then starting at noon, I'll have it airing like the Monday after it airs on Patreon, and then it'll be the following week for YouTube. So, because that's how I do. So yeah, that's the plan anyway. We'll see if that holds out with scheduling and how that works, but that's my goal anyway. So I am really excited. I hope you all are too. I'm looking forward to seeing this season that's coming up, but we have this OVA to watch and see what all shenanigans our boys can get involved with. I'm pretty excited. So let's not waste any more time, shall we? We're going to watch the second OVA for My Hero Academia, and we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. That was absolutely adorable. Mr. Smiley. I'm not usually for the record, I'm not usually like a non-canon aficionado for anime. I like One Piece a lot, but I don't watch the One Piece movies because they're not canon. And I'm very much like, I want to stick with the canon material, because usually when things aren't canon, you can tell it's not the author's creation because it doesn't quite fit like their style or tone exactly. It always feels like there's something a little off about it. And even though this felt like My Hero Academia, there was like a little bit, it felt like a little, Mr. Smiley is a little corny for Horikoshi. Horikoshi, when he does like a villain that's making fun of something, there's like a little bit of cynicism and sarcasm to it. It's kind of like, it's a little twisted in a way. And this was very like hoaxy and kind of like cutesy. And I feel like Horikoshi, if you've ever seen like his Twitter and stuff, he's a little bit darker than that. Horikoshi's a little dark. And so I was like, Horikoshi and the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen are like besties, if that tells you anything. They're like best friends. And I'm like, you guys just like to make us suffer equally. But so it was, you could tell this is like OVA. Like it's the stakes, there's not stakes. It's like you knew they were going to defeat him somehow, but it was really, really cute. The Banksy thing is probably the funniest part about it. I'm a big Banksy fan. And so I was like, if they don't reference that in this episode, would Banksy like sue them? But then again, Banksy's a vandal. Like, it's funny, Banksy is an artist, but they're also kind of like a vandal. They do graffiti work on stuff too. So it's like, I guess Banksy couldn't out themselves and do it, but it's funny that I'm glad they actually paid homage to Banksy. I'm glad they did that, because I was like, yeah, you need to reference what you all are referencing, and so that was pretty funny. I liked that a lot. But yeah, I love the aspect of this where Shoto's like, is this good art? And Midoriya's like, I don't know. That's the worst thing about artwork, is like, it's so subjective. It's like one thing that somebody thinks is beautiful, another person's like, that's hideous. And so Deku's like, and Deku always wants to be like so kind and considerate that when Shoto's like, is this good art? And he's like, I don't know. It's all a matter of what you think, you know. It's really cute. But yeah, I do love the Endeavor agency. The little graffiti artist of the rabbit getting the police, and the frog with the flower, that's very Banksy. The gorillas and stuff like that, that's very Banksy. There have been 50 incidents over already. I love Bakugo just like staring at like him and Endeavor are like, waste of our time. A complete waste of our time to help arrest this vandal, this culprit. And I like that Endeavor at first is like, you want us to catch a mere vandal? I forget Endeavor's kind of an ass. It's only until it's personal does he care, right? So I think it is important to note in this that when this takes place in the timeline of things, even though it's an OVA and it's not canon, it is taking place once Endeavor has moved his family out of the mansion and it's just Endeavor there. So that's like when Shoto says, oh, they vandalized his home. They've already moved out to a different house and Endeavor's living by himself at this point. So I feel like that's important to note. But yeah, Endeavor, like, I'm like, that is the one thing that is kind of, like I said, the OVAs, stuff that's not canon, it almost sometimes feels like an imitation of the actual source material, because in the actual series, Endeavor would take on this thing, I believe. I think Endeavor would take on catching the criminal, even though it seems like he wouldn't think it was beneath him. He'd be like, no. Because in the manga, Endeavor's like, we're going to catch any criminal, like even like a petty like purse snatcher. In the manga, they catch a purse snatcher. And it's like, that's a lesser crime than this. So I think that that's kind of, it's played as a joke later on that Endeavor gets involved because it was his own property that was vandalized. But here I'm like, it's funny, but it's not entirely in character for Endeavor. So again, that's like, you know, he's like, the police should take care of such a minor offense. I'm like, the manga Endeavor would be like, no, let's do this. But it's the quirk. They're like, oh, it's the quirk of the man who calls himself Mr. Smiley who's so strong. And that gets everybody's attention. Like, oh, a powerful quirk. What? So that is true, though. The quirk that he has, kind of like Miss Jokes, is one that it would cause a lot of problems. Like, it basically incapacitates people for 2 hours. That, and it can be used on a mass widespread area. So yeah, if he decided to use it for more villainous acts than just vandalism, that could be a big problem. And so they're like, yeah, we kind of need to nip this in the bud before it gets out of hand. And of course, because Deku is a patron saint, Deku is a literal sugar cube with legs. He is being like, well, but maybe there's a reason he's doing this. I'm like, of course he would, Deku. Of course you'd think that. It's like, yeah. And so Endeavor kind of laments, he's like, this trivial case. The graffiti's pretty bad, though. It's like, does this guy think he's Banksy or something? It's like, yeah, good, you made a reference. And so Deku's like, well, but his quirk's kind of powerful. It's like Miss Jokes. It's something that's like, could be dangerous, right? And then, I'm sorry, Attack on Titan's ruined me for Shoto. When I watched seasons 1 through 5, I had not gotten into Attack on Titan yet. And now that I've watched Attack on Titan, oh my god, Shoto's voice, it's Eren. I was like, no! I was like, oh god, no, it's Eren Yeager, it is! Oh no! So I'm gonna have to, when I watch season 6, I'm gonna have to suspend my disbelief and be like, oh god, it's Eren. Oh, I want to go back and watch seasons 1 through 4 and see how noticeable it is. I'm like, was it really that noticeable? And I hadn't watched Attack on Titan, so I didn't know, but I do want to look up, if Bakugo's voice actor, Bakugo VA, is Nobuhiko Okamoto. What else have they done? Because I'm like, what have they done? What other voices have they done? I know they've done a lot, that they've been a lot of things. But what have they done recently? Oh no, it's Jinya. Oh no, it's not Inosuke. Interesting. Oh, I forget who Bakugo's voice actor also plays. Wow, it's not Inosuke. I would have fooled. And Nishinoya. Oh yeah, I knew it was Nishinoya. But how about that? Well, who would have known? Interesting. Okay. Never mind me. But yeah, now I'm like, oh god, Shoto, I'm ruined. Attack on Titan's ruined me for your voice. But it's okay. It's fine. And so yeah, I like that Endeavor's such an asshole in this OVA. And granted, he's pretty slimy. But I'm like, they really go out of their way to make him like, because the driver's like, man, imagine them putting you on a task that's so beneath you. And he's like, I know, right? I was like, really? And then when he gets home, his wall has been completely His wall's been completely vandalized, and like I like that he had his hero suit on underneath his clothes. Thank goodness. Glad that that was a thing. But yeah, laugh as if you are in hell. That title's pretty great. But yeah, this show is also a coward because it won't let us hear Shoto laughing. Like, come on, you couldn't let us hear Shoto laughing. Come on, how dare they? I'm like, did Yuki Kaji just not want to laugh that much? How dare they? But yeah, so Mr. Smiley, his outfit is just absolutely ridiculous. I also want to make note that every time Deku is made to laugh in this episode, he like goes through a wall and has severe head trauma. So I'm like, I feel for our boy Deku. That's awful. Our poor boy Deku. But yeah, his outfit is ridiculous. The one thing about Mr. Smiley's dynamic that I don't know is the woman going, Mr. Smiley. Like, I don't understand the dynamic of how she can talk, but it's My Hero Academia. I'm not going to question it. It's fine. I'm like, they let Endeavor laugh. They let Bakugo and Deku laugh, but they're not going to give us Shoto? How dare they? This guy even had tech. He even had a camera that projected the image to get Shoto to laugh. I do like that the creep factor, like his outfit is ridiculous, but he is an artist, and artists kind of have kind of like eclectic fashion sometimes. The pink and the red clash is really bad, but I do like his ponytail as a paintbrush. Like, and he has the paintbrush things. That is really cool. I like that. But it's kind of creepy because his eyes are just like, he looks like this all the time, and he's like, he just has the nervous laughter smile, even when he's distressed. It's really scary and sad. But yeah, his motivations are pretty one-dimensional. It's like he just wanted to show, I feel like in OVA fashion, the stakes as far as that go, like his villain origin story is that he didn't get accepted into art school, and I'm like, then go to apply to a different art school. I was like his motivations, he's like, well, I want the world to see my art. I'm like, then why didn't you just do like what Deku said and get like a website going? There was more options. Problem could have been solved. I'm like, I'm glad Deku was your life coach for this episode. I am also glad we got to see May. Hatsume. I love May. She's a great character. I love her in the sport department. I was like, well, then just get a tech tool. I thought they were going to get like some infrared goggles or something that would make you where you couldn't see the image. But the robot, the short circuit robot's a lot of fun. I always think Power Loader looks like a Digimon. I don't know how else to describe it. He just looks like a Digimon whenever I see him. But yeah, so the robot doesn't work because it can see the image. It breaks down. And then everything goes to hell in a handbasket. It doesn't work out. And so then, of course, Deku, because he is our empathetic protagonist that is powdered sugar in human form, he makes the connection that this horrible route was because he wasn't accepted and he just couldn't see any other options except down this dark road. And Deku, very much like Shinso, is like, but your powers could be used for good. And it's like, it's cute. I'm fine with it. But again, I feel like if it was Horikoshi, actually, if this was canon in the manga, there'd be like something else. It felt like there was an element missing. And so I was like, there feels like Horikoshi would have added something else to kind of tie it in a little bit tighter, but it's fine. I am glad that when we first saw those guys, like, in like getting the guns and stuff, I was like, where is this going? What is this plot point? I was like, does Mr. Smiley have friends in low places? But no, it was like a totally different plot point that I'm glad they actually, that was the surprising thing, was they tied that into all of this. I was like, oh, okay. That adds something to it. I'm like, they're going to use it as a way for him to save the day. And then he's going to turn himself into Deku. And that is the one thing. It was a little predictable, but I did like the twist of having these guys tied in. And then Shoto, I love Shoto's bluntness where he's like, oh, Kaminari, who's good with tech, helped me make this website. This website looks like something that a 14-year-old would make. I don't know. The colors and everything. It also looks like it was made in 2006. So I was like, that would have been like, when I was in high school, we had like WebMonkey and we like made websites off of it. That shows you how old I am. And this looks like something we would have made. It seems to fit his style. But welcome to the Smiley Gallery. He's like, Kaminari's good with computers, so I had him teach me. I'm like, that's cute. And I love that Shoto's like, Deku had time to learn coding. He's like, I know. I love that it just zooms in on Shoto's face really slowly. And he's like, I don't get it. That part's really funny. I like Shoto is so blunt and doesn't understand. It's great. He's like, is this good art? And Deku's like, I love that Deku's like, well, I don't want to be mean. I don't know. But I think they're important to him. I'm like, that's the Saints answer, Deku. The Saints answer. You did it. You did it. That was great. But yeah, so of course, I like the idea that Deku notices that he stands in front of his artwork so it won't get destroyed. And that's what prompts him to like jump in and try to help him. And of course, Bakugo. Kacchan's plan spoiled by Deku. Who saw that coming? I was just waiting for Deku to yell at him and be like, Baka Deku. Like, how dare you? It's great. I did comment at the end of the reaction that there are times in this where Bakugo seems like he would have been Endeavor's son because they're both fiery and both have like the super serious #1 hero mentalities. Like they seem more like father son than Shoto and Endeavor do. But knowing what we all know about Endeavor and Shoto and their relationship, it's not surprising. But God, Bakugo in that laughter face, it's great. It's wonderful. And then yeah, those guys show up. And Deku has the heart-to-heart with the villain being like, talk no jutsu. It's all right, man. Just turn yourself in. We'll get you a website. We'll fix everything. And then the guys come in with the guns. And then Mr. Smiley uses that opportunity to help save everybody. And then, God, his mitts, his hands are huge. He has like the most giant biceps and forearms ever. And then, yeah, and Deku's like, it's an amazing quirk. You should have been a hero. But then I did like this, where he's like, I don't like fighting. Yeah, I do like that. I do like that angle of it. That there is, Deku's like, well, you could have become a hero with this quirk. And he's like, I don't like fighting people. Yeah, so what do you do when you have somebody that has a quirk that's really powerful like this and they don't want to fight? They don't want to be a hero or a villain. It's like, that's a really cool thing to bring up because it's like, yeah, there's going to be some people in this world that have these amazing abilities that don't want to have to fight crime. And they shouldn't have to. It's kind of like a commentary a little bit on this society that churns out all these heroes for the workforce. But what if they don't want to do that? That's really good. I like that. I like that he addresses that. But then he holds out his hands like, I'll give it another try in the art world after I atone for my crimes. He's his giant forearms. And I love Deku. Deku's little face where he's kind of like, I want to get a picture of that because Deku's face where he's kind of sad, where he's like, oh, you're going to turn yourself in. It's almost like Deku was going to let him go. Deku's like, just go on. It's fine. Deku's like, you'll be a terrible parent, Deku. Like, oh, it's okay, kids. But yeah, that face, it's so sincere. Oh, bless our little cinnamon bun. And then, yeah, everybody it just all gets spread around and that widespread, like, notoriety gets some views on the website. Imagine that. It's great. But no, this was very cute. I liked this more than the baseball one. Although the baseball one I think I laughed harder at because it just got to a ridiculous point. But this was really cute. So yeah, I am honestly excited for season 6. I'm nervous because, to be honest, I am a manga reader with My Hero Academia. I keep up with the manga. It's like one of the only series on this channel where I can't be spoiled because I know what's going to happen in the manga. I'm a little nervous because, to be honest, the events that I think are going to happen in season 6 are some of my favorite in the manga. Like, we're at the point where I really love the events that happen, that I think are going to happen this season. And so I want Bones to do well. Or this isn't even Bones, is it? Is it Bones? I think it's Bones. But I want them to do well. I'm like, this stuff is, the content of the manga at this point is so good. And there's so much that we can talk about with season 6 that I think is going to happen. And I'm like, come on, studio, don't mess this up. Because I know last season, a lot of people had complaints with season 5 because of the animation. And a lot of it, I think, had to do with the fact they were trying to do the movie and the TV series at the same time. And they just, the production just could not cover both. But I'm like, now you don't have the movie to worry about. So I expect that the animation will look good. And there's moments that I'm like, I have wanted to see animated for like years now. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I'm going to be very curious to see how they animate it and how the emotional like impact happens. There's one particular moment I'm going to lose it on. And I'm like, I'm just so ready. But I'm not going to spoil you all with that. If you're anime only, I'm not going to spoil it. We can talk down in the comments below. Just spoiler tag it in case if people are reading the comments so they don't get spoiled. But I'm like, fingers crossed. I hope this season is good, but the parts of the manga I'm really looking forward to, I think are going to happen this season. And I'm like, yes, I'm so ready. But we'll see what happens, right? So I'm very curious to know your thoughts down below, what you all thought of this OVA. Let me know. I hope you all enjoyed the reaction and discussion. But yeah, in October, Mondays, October, it's going to be My Hero. It's going to be My Hero Mondays. There we go. So we're going to do that, and I'm excited starting in October to be watching season 6 with you all. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more My Hero Academia. Bye.